All right, class. I know you have a website link, but I want to kind of, sometimes, different forms, different ways help people. Um, but you may be thinking that this kind of stuff is overly simplistic, a little too easy. Why are we talking about subjects and identifying subjects in sentences? But look, the kind of the most important thing that you can do, and it kind of, I'm trying to find a way for you to help you with grammar rules and things like where commas go and how to make the verb match the subject and stuff like that without making it overly complicated. And so I guess if I could import anything to you, the most important thing that you can take away right now is that being able to identify the subject of the sentence is the key to knowing where commas go. It's the key to knowing, like a lot of times, if you write an essay and sentences start to get awkward, oftentimes that could be because your subject's at the end of the sentence instead of towards the beginning, where it can go. And all that comes down to being able to identify the subject. So for instance, like it says here, subjects usually come before verbs. And that is true. Now, how I can give you extra information to help you with that is that if you ever have a bunch of words or a word between a subject and a verb, chances are it's an interrupting phrase that needs commas around it. And that's going to come into play in our comma section. But also, if you have a phrase or a word at the beginning of a sentence before your subject, like 9 times out of 10, it needs a comma at the end of that word or phrase before the subject. And, so here's a couple of examples of that. If you look right down here to this number 2, where it says, here in our neighborhood, the melting pot exists. You'll find out one of our other kind of rules. A subject of a sentence is never ever going to be in a prepositional phrase. So if it's your task to figure out, where to put your commas in a sentence and what the subject of the sentence is, you can take this something like number 2 here. You can completely cut out that in our neighborhood because it's a prepositional phrase. The subject can't be in there, and the subject's not here because it's not doing the verb. What is doing the verb exists, the melting pot. So what exists? The melting pot. So if you notice, you have these words before the subject, the melting pot, and you have a comma there. That's, like I said, that's because these subjects help us, tell us where comic books go. Now, these first few, and here's an example of that right here. In our neighborhood, and you can kind of feel the pause. A lot of times when you read something out loud and you hear the pause, that's because it needs a comma there. So if you read, like this one, the new immigrants think that the old ones are bigots. There's no pause. But if you look at this one, in our neighborhood, I live near a lot of old Italians. It's like my life in Brooklyn. Anyways, that comma goes there because it's an introductory phrase before the subject I that does the verb lived. So that's just one way that the knowing, where a subject is in a sentence can help you. And it can never be in a prepositional phrase, like in our neighborhood. See, it starts with N, one of these prepositions here. Okay, so that's one way to help eliminate where a prepositional phrase is. And this exercise here helps you do that. You put brackets around all the prepositional phrases, and that kind of trims your sentence down to just its base parts. I won the swimming award, and then it's pretty easy to figure out where the subject is from there. Who or what won? Who or what did the verb? I did. I. So that's, the answer there. Let's see. Again, here's another example of we have a subject that comes after our prepositional phrase or our dependent phrase or our phrase that starts with when, if, while, things of that nature. Okay. Now, one other thing that I also want to mention is sometimes an ing phrase called a gerund can be the subject of a sentence. And it's a little bit trickier to identify that, but you can just ask what makes us proud? And what motivates us to do better? Well, excelling at sports makes us proud, and losing sometimes makes us better. So these, in this case, an ing word, in this case, an ing phrase. Now, how is that a noun, a subject? Because it is a complete thought. And remember, a noun is a person, place, or thing. Well, a thing can be a complete thought or an idea or a concept, like excelling at sports. Okay. Anyways, look, you've got this whole entire exercise here to help you with these things. And I would highly recommend doing this, and I will post the answers to it as well. And I think that this could help you. This little worksheet here can, help you with identifying subjects. Now, we also have a website with a practice quiz and videos, but this little worksheet's also an additional resource. All right.